In this video, we're going to be using local Gent clown fruit and the Focus Tritok R51 flat. Stay tuned. Hey there folks, and welcome back for another video. I'm your host CDB. Thanks so much for joining me again today. And if it's your first time, welcome to the channel. I hope you'll consider subscribing below. Okay, so as mentioned before, we're going to be using the local Gent clown fruit today, which I got from the Dude of Shaving, which you see right there. Handsome fellow, especially his vintage picture. But anyway, we made a trade for this, and this is no longer available, but I am told it is made by PAA, and they bring it back every now and then. And this is a really nice soap, again, made by local Gent. The scent on this, there's a lot of people who disagree on what it smells like. To me, it has sort of a root beer float sort of vibe, but I also saw a viewer made a comment that it sort of reminded him of Bazooka Joe bubblegum. I get that. But also, Glenn Helly said, which I agree, it kind of reminds him of Organism 46B, less sweet version. It's sort of somewhere in between all of that. Really nice scent. This is an older soap. And by the way, this soap, the soap itself, glows in the dark. Let me roll in a pic right there. And as you can see, I put the light to it last night and it actually glows. And even when you lather it, I actually tried that too, and it will glow faintly, but it wasn't enough to really get a good pic, so I didn't get a good pic of that. So that's pretty cool and interesting that the soap glows. Awesome label. Again, this was made by local Gent, and I think it was in conjunction with PAA at the time. I don't know all the details of that because it's no longer available in the local Gent format, but killer label there. I really like that. So thank you, Junior, the Dude of Shaving. Let's get the misting. 24 hours growth today. So just standard. You see the whiskers there. We're using the Focus Tritok R51 flat, which was sent to me by X Keys, a viewer. Thank you so much, X Keys. He wanted to contribute to the channel, and I really appreciate that. Thank you so much, X Keys. That means a lot. And while I'm applying the pre-shave, let me stop and get a cloth for my hands so I can dry my hands off. All right, so we're back, and let's apply some pre-shave, and then we'll work it in just a little bit. Hope everyone is doing well today. I really appreciate you being here. Okay, there's our PAA pre-shave cube, which I really like to use, and I've used local Gent soaps in the past, so I know that I will get a decent lather out of it. I don't expect any sort of quality problems. Nice smelling soap, sort of a rare find just because it's not made anymore and people tend to collect these. So I really appreciate Junior helping me out and giving me a chance to try this soap. And hopefully at some point, maybe PAA will bring it back with this label. I've seen the Son of Crown Fruit label and the Will of the Wisp. I like this one the best by far in terms of labels, if you care about that. West Coast Shaving, two-tone synthetic. This is about, I want to say $17, 26 millimeter knot, but it's a big knot. Very nice knot. And we will get our soap applied today. The ingredients, while I'm lathering, I'll put it right there for you. I took a picture of it. Cost, I won't get into because I don't know what the cost was at the time it was sold. But I will tell you, if PAA releases it, if you get the regular CK formula, it will be a good price, like between $3 and $4 an ounce. And the CK6 is like $4 and something an ounce. So a fair price, I think. Somewhere in that realm anyway. Okay, let's just add a little more moisture here. Just work that in. And then we're gonna roll with the Tritok. Thank you again, X Keys. I'm gonna use your proper name because I didn't ask permission, but he goes by that on, I think, comments as that. So thank you very much. He wanted to contribute. And this is the first time I've used this razor. This is an all aluminum razor. It is designed to be very mild, and it's got a very slim profile, as you see there. But the handle has some weight to it, so I like that. Some of the aluminum razors are almost too light. And, nice. By the way, the blade is feather, because with this being so mild, I thought, well, let's use the feather blade. Yeah, it definitely has the angle on this razor is supposed to be around 25 degrees low angle. And so you're either on that cutting angle or you're not. It's pretty narrow into how it works, but you can sort of rotate it in place and it seems to be doing a good job. However, I can tell it is certainly in the mild spectrum for certain, but it feels good. And that handle's a little longer than what I would typically prefer, but I actually like it. It gives this particular razor some weight. The blade fits in here very nicely, and that cap, as you can see, there is not much bend in that blade. It's almost entirely flat, if not entirely flat. But it's doing its work, and that's the most important thing. I think a lot of us prefer more efficient razors because they take off more hair per pass, and we have to make less strokes and so on and so forth. But a mild razor, for most people, will get the job done. You might have to work a little bit harder in the pursuit of getting a BBS shave for some people. For some people, they'll work just perfectly. So far, it's doing well. But I noticed that I am definitely taking more strokes than I ordinarily would. Not much blade feel here. You can feel it, but definitely mild. And they have a few different versions of this. And this goes for about $63 on the Superior Shave here in the US. And there may be other people who sell it as well. But that's where I've seen it advertised the most. It is made entirely in Italy. And it says so on the handle right there. It says focus 100% Italy made. And they make shavettes and some other razors, and I think they have 3 versions of this one, if I'm not mistaken, with this being the most mild. And as you can see there, a lot of times the blades remove all the lather, and this one really does not, but it's no big deal. It's actually working well so far. So let's set that to the side and get on with pass number 2. You guys got to watch Ken Klitschko's video. We've been talking about the edgegasm. You know, us folks who hone, and especially are new to hone, and that joy we get when we use a straight razor edge that we put on it ourselves. I'll show you a little image right here. And I'll just say, I will link his video below. Go watch it. It is very funny. It's very fun, especially if you're a hobbyist. You know, you're really into the hobby and the shaving nerdism and so on. Shave geekery, I should say. Very funny. I like Ken Klitschko. Good dude. We talk pretty often. And he makes some thought-provoking videos. And he always introduces some ideas. Or not every single video, but a lot of times he mentions ideas that I'm interested in. And he's thinking about the hobby, and that's why he gets mentioned. And as I was saying in my video yesterday, a lot of times I mention people who make videos and they're thought-provoking in some way, or they're doing something different. For example, I saw Jim Combs from Jimco Shaving, and he was doing a very interesting thing yesterday, whereas he had his son, or I believe he said it was son, either his son or his wife, I can't recall, load 2 razors with different blades, and he doesn't know which blade is in which razor. That right there, once he shaves with them for a while, he will unveil the blade, and then he's removing all bias, you know, because right now I know I have a feather in the blade, so I'm going to make certain assumptions about the feather. Now for me, I don't find feather blades to be the least bit intimidating at all, and I think, honestly, I've always thought that it was rubbish, that, oh, feather, you got to be careful, you're going to cut your jugular and all that kind of stuff. I've not found that to be the case whatsoever, that it's threatening. But some people strongly believe that it is, and I'm not going to deny their experience and say it doesn't happen, but I'm going to say for me, I think it's rubbish based on my experience, not based on yours, because I can't tell you what kind of experience you have, you know. But I can say that I don't find them to be intimidating in any way or fashion. Just a blade like every other blade. every blade is sharp and every blade will cut you. Some are sharper than others. I agree. And the feather is known to be sharp, but I don't think it's scary sharp to the degree that, and honestly, quite honestly, I don't think that sharper blades make you more at risk to cut yourself. I know when we're dealing with knives and tools, the rules are always you want the sharpest tool that you have available in order to keep from cutting yourself. So a sharp tool makes the operation of it a lot of times smooth. All right. Now I do know this razor sort of reminds me in its shave, as best as I can recall, because it's been a long time since I've used it, Feather ASD2, which has a sort of narrow window of which it will cut. And I am not a huge fan of that particular razor because it's so mild that I feel like I have to work a little harder to get to the same place that I would with, say, even a Merkur 34C. This one feels to me similar to that, but we can't really judge it on the basis of one shave. And that's something I think that's important to remember. When something is really good, you can tell quickly. When something doesn't agree with you, I think it takes more time. Now with soap scents, I know immediately. You know, it's a whole different ballgame. And most soap scents do not grow on me over time. I pretty much know what I like, and when I smell it, it's obvious. But sometimes with hardware, after using it, you develop a feel for it and it will work far better, 20 uses in than on use 1 through 10, let's say. And I think that's that way for razors. Brushes, it doesn't take much to lather soap. So if you're struggling with the brush, that's unusual. Now, I will say, if you're used to synthetics and you go to natural hair, totally different lathering experience, so I understand how you would struggle with that. But generally, you won't struggle too much with the brush unless you're going from one type to another. But razors, sometimes their angles and all the various things, they're different. So you can see there are no problems with the lather. So it takes you a little bit of time to get the feel for it. And this one, to me, feels quite mild. It's designed to be mild. It says it's mild. So my expectation should not be that it's super, super efficient. Efficient meaning taking off lots of hair with every stroke or with every pass, let's say. So the expectation for this being this one is called Flat. Again, about $63 at Superior Shave. I'll link below. You should not be that your expectation should not be that it's going to feel like an R41 or a Yaki Night Helmet or something like that. It's just, you're not going to feel a lot of blade. And so I would tell people right now, if you're looking for a lot of blade feel, this version, the Flat, the mildest one, most likely will not be for you. Just flat out. Now, if you're someone who really prefers a mild shave, this could definitely be a contender for you. But you really have to get that angle right. Otherwise, it's just not going to cut it all. And that's the way it's designed. Super, super flat, too. So whatever your feelings are about the orientation of the blade, whether it's torqued or not, just know that it's flat. And there is no question that I'm doing extra strokes just because this is a mild razor. Now, the great thing for you guys is, after I use this a few times, if I don't like it, X-Keys told me that I could give it away. So maybe a giveaway will be upcoming with this. We shall see. But I will use it a few times because if a viewer wants me to try something out, then and I reasonably can, I'm going to try it out. Unless I absolutely hated it, or if it's non-functional, I'm going to try it out. But the shave is, and you can see even in the amount of lather that sort of gets left behind. All right. Which means some of the time my angle may not be right when I'm using it. So keep that in mind. User error comes into play when you're using something like this as well. But I tell you right now, with this, you're either cutting or not. It's got that narrow, it's like the Feather ASD2, and it's got sort of a narrow angle in which it will cut. And if you're not right at it, it's not going to cut. And since it doesn't have a lot of blade feel, finding that angle may not be easy for you. If it had more blade feel, then you can rotate it and find that pretty easily. So sometimes you just don't know whether you're at the right angle or not because you don't feel much blade to begin with. So that would be in my view, would be sort of a negative. But for some people, positive, because they don't want to feel a lot of blade feel on their face, and they just want to use the razor enough to become very proficient with it and go on about their business. And so if that is you, that's okay. All right, lots of strokes in this shape today. Way more than any DE. And this is exactly why I don't own a Feather ASD2. Magnificent build, and if it works well for you, big thumbs up. I'm not knocking it. I'm just saying for me, it's not a razor that I enjoy to use. And I have owned it, just like I've owned up to a certain point every premium item before I got over PGD, Premium Gear Disorder. And Premium Gear Disorder is the assumption that all expensive gear works better than inexpensive gear, which is absolutely, in my view, unequivocally untrue, meaning that every expensive piece of gear does not, by default, work better than less expensive counterparts. PGD, Premium Gear Disorder. People are suffering from it now. People are suffering from it right now, I guarantee you. All right. Let me rinse. We'll come back and get into the post. Stay tuned. All right, and we're back with the magic made by witches, or Thayers. And I can tell you right now, if you are a person who wants blade feel or higher level efficiency, do not get the R51, the Focus Tritok flat version. They have a couple of other versions. I think one might even be a slant, I'm not sure, but don't get the one that says flat. This is going to be very mild. It is not going to be to your liking if you're seeking a lot of blade feel. If, on the other hand, you fall in the camp you really want super mild razor, this may be a candidate for you. It is well built, super slim head. We'll show you the head there. Super slim. And if I can get it apart, we'll show you the blade real quick. One of the problems with this is this head fits together so tightly that if you have any glue on your blades, it kind of makes it stick together. I was noticing that, so I'm having a hard time getting this apart without cutting my fingers, which it's kind of stuck together because of the glue. So let me try this here. I apologize. Wow, that is really stuck in there pretty tight. And it makes it rather difficult to get open without cutting yourself. Now there is a tab here. There's a little bit of a groove right there, but I am really having trouble getting a hold of this to get, so I'm not going to take it apart. It's just a waste of time. I'll do this off cam because I don't want to waste your time. We'll talk about this more in another video, but if I only grab the top of that and shake it, it's not coming apart because the wax and glue on the blades, this thing sets together so tightly that it almost seals it together. So anyway, thank you X Keys for sending it. I really did enjoy it. We used the Thayers there. We're going to use the Folsom & Company black powder, which is no longer made, I don't believe. It's got a great scent. And of course we used the local Gent Clown Fruit, which was fantastic. I love the scent. I love the soap. It's good all around as far as I'm concerned. And we're going to bring this shave to a close. And thanks to all of you for watching. I appreciate it. I don't say it enough, but I really mean it. I've been your host, CDB, and I'm reminding you, it's your shave, do it your way. And as always, God bless.